How has your life been affected by music?
Music has been such a big part of my life from the beginning that I don't know any difference. So I think recently I've realized like how great music has been to meet people or affect other people, kind of connect with them. And I think as a performer, I'm really lucky in that I get to use music to connect with perfect strangers, or maybe make friends with them afterwards because of what I'm doing. And I think it's been really great in that respect. And music has also been a really great vehicle for learning about other cultures, like around the world. Like if you're, the different kinds of music in Africa or Europe. My sister does a lot of work in Africa, so whenever she goes someplace, she brings me back an instrument, and then I get to dig around and look for samples of that music to listen to, and so it's really opened my eyes to other cultures and what other people are doing around the world and what their music is like, and it's also helped me learn a lot about my own history, because doing folk research has really brought up stories in my family, not necessarily musical, but looking into these old folk songs has really brought up different stories of how my family came to be, in the Midwest, and the stories behind that. So it's really been, it's affected my life in a lot of different ways, maybe that you wouldn't think of offhand, but it's really been a fun journey having music in my life as much as I have.
What do you hope to teach people?
I hope especially to teach people about their own history, because I grew up in South Dakota, and digging through old folk music from this part of the country has really brought to my attention like all the history and culture that is here in South Dakota. And I hope by presenting these songs to other people, they'll start to look into their history and realize, like, oh, my family came from whatever country in Europe, or my family is made up of a bunch of different cultures mixed together, and maybe by hearing the music that I'm playing and the stories that are behind those songs, they might start digging into their own history and realize that South Dakota and the surrounding area really does have a rich cultural history, because I think there's a misconception that there's not that sort of depth of history here, and there definitely is. So I hope by playing music, I bring that to people's attention.
What other types of music inspires you?
I really love jazz. Like I like to play a little bit of jazz, but I really love to listen to jazz and old blues, like blues from like the 1920s, especially. I just love those types of music, and I think it's really interesting trying to hear how they've influenced folk music, and how folk music has influenced jazz and blues, and so those are probably my two favorite genres.